Gametogenesis. The primary sex organ, testis in male and the ovaries in the female, produce gametes. Testis produce sperms and ovaries produce ovum. By the process, we call it as gametogenesis. In testis, the immature male germ cell, spermatogonia. So here it is, spermatogonia. They termed it as immature male germ cells. Immature male germ cells. Spermatogonia, they termed it as immature male germ cells. They produce sperms. Production of the sperms from the spermatogonia, they called it as spermatogenesis. This is the first question possible statement. Then spermatogonia or singular spermatogonium. Spermatogonia is the plural one. Spermatogonium is the singular one. Present on the inside wall of seminiferous tubule. They are present in the inner lining of the seminiferous tubule, this spermatogonium. So this particular portion, a little portion shown here in the diagram. Then wall of seminiferous tubule multiply by mitotic division. Spermatogonia. First we start the story with spermatogonia or spermatogonium singular undergo mitosis. Okay, they are in diploid condition. They undergo mitosis. Okay, each spermatogonium is diploid and contain 46 chromosomes. Some of the spermatogonia after the division means here some of them remain as a spermatogonia and some are termed as primary spermatocyte. Means they undergo mitosis. Some of them remain as spermatogonia again and some become primary spermatocytes. Okay. So then periodically undergo meiosis. Primary spermatocyte periodically undergo meiosis, that is called meiosis 1. A primary spermatocyte complete first meiotic division, reduction division, leading to the formation of two equal haploid cells, two secondary spermatocyte. So questions from here. Secondary spermatocyte formed from primary spermatocyte. Secondary spermatocyte formed after the division, meiosis 1. Number of secondary spermatocytes are formed from primary spermatocyte are 2 for one division. Okay. So a secondary spermatocyte which have only 23 chromosome, that is haploid, 23 chromosome, meiosis 1 of primary spermatocyte result the secondary spermatocyte haploid, which have only 23 chromosome, and the secondary spermatocyte which have only 23 undergo second meiotic division to produce 4 equal meiosis 2 performed by secondary spermatocyte. Meiosis 2 results spermatid. Meiosis 2 result spermatid. What is spermatid? Haploid n equal to 23. Okay. So here we have 3 division. Mitosis performed by spermatogonia. Mitosis result primary spermatocyte. Meiosis 1 performed by primary spermatocyte. Meiosis 1 result secondary spermatocyte. Meiosis 2 performed by secondary spermatocyte. Meiosis 2 result spermatids. Each secondary spermatocyte form 2 each. That means there are 4 spermatids are going to formed from one primary spermatocytes in the end. Equal haploid spermatid. What would be the number of chromosome in spermatid? They asked. N equal to 23. We answered. Spermatids are the transformed into spermatozoa by the process called spermatid transformed into spermatozoa by the process called spermiogenesis. By the process called spermiogenesis. Transformation, not division. After spermiogenesis, sperm head become, you see the sperm head is still in the Sertoli cell. See the circle? After that, sperm head become embedded in the Sertoli cell. You see here that head is there in Sertoli cell and are finally released from the seminiferous tubule. And they finally release, you can see the release here, by a process called spermiation. By a process called spermiation. Okay, so this is the total story. We have three definitions. The total process, spermatogonia to sperm. The total process, spermatogonia to sperm, is called spermatogenesis. In that, transformation of the spermatid into the spermatozoa is called spermiogenesis. Release of the sperm, where it is here in the diagram. The sperm head embedded in the Sertoli cell, the release is called as spermiation. Three definitions. Okay, moving on. Spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty. Starts at the age of puberty due to significant increase in the secretion of hormone called GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. We learned in endocrinology. The increased levels of GnRH acts on anterior pituitary and that release stimulate the secretion of gonadotropin, two gonadotropin. What are they? FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing. LH is also called ICSH. LH acts on Leydig cells or interstitial cells. Stimulate the synthesis and secretion of androgens. Androgens in turn stimulate the process called spermatogenesis. So ultimately we have to say LH for spermatogenesis. FSH acts on Sertoli cell and stimulate the secretion of some factor which help in the process of spermiogenesis. So FSH for spermiogenesis. If we direct questions, FSH spermiogenesis, LH indirectly spermatogenesis. So what is spermatogenesis? Production of spermatogonia into sperm is called spermatogenesis. That is done by LH. Then what is spermiogenesis? Maturation of the spermatid into spermatozoa is called spermiogenesis. That is done by FSH. Okay. So next, moving on about the structure of sperm. Let us examine the structure of sperm. It is a microscopic structure composed of head and neck, then the middle piece. This is the middle piece. Okay, and tail. Head, neck, middle piece, and tail. The structures of the sperm, head, neck, middle piece, and sperm. Tail. A plasma membrane envelops the whole body of sperm. So let's talk about this. A plasma membrane envelops the whole body of sperm. The sperm head contain, here what it contain? Elongated, sperm head contain elongated haploid nucleus. So, should talk about this elongated haploid nucleus. Anterior portion of which is covered by cap-like structure called acrosome. This is the acrosome. Acrosome filled with enzyme that all this, the acrosome is a modified Golgi complex filled with enzymes helpful for the fertilization of ovum. Middle piece contain mitochondria. Straight questions, head contain, middle piece contain, tail contain likewise, which produce the energy for the movement of the tail. They provide energy for the movement of the tail, which make the movement of the sperm. Sperm motility essential for fertilization. Okay. So then tail is having what? Tail is having an axial filament. There is an axial filament in the tail which make the movement. Okay. So then some calculation given here. Let me write that calculation. Human male ejaculate 200 to 300 million sperms during coitus. In that, at least for normal fertility, 60% of the sperms must have normal shape and size. normal shape and size. That means 62 ja. That means 120, 63 ja, 180. Okay, so that means 120 to 180 million sperm should have normal shape and size. At least 40% of them means 120 to 180, in this 120 to 180, must show vigorous motility. Must show vigorous motility. So 40, 12 4 ja, 48, 18 4 ja, 72, 48 to 72 million sperms should have the vigorous motility. That is said to be normal condition. Okay, so 200 to 300 million sperms are produced. In that, 120 to 180 million sperm should be normal shape and size. In that, 48 to 72 million sperm should have the vigorous motility for a normal, healthy human fertilization process. Sperms released from the seminiferous tubule are transported by accessory duct secretions of epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, and prostate are essential for maturation and motility of the sperm. Seminal plasma along with the sperm, this is going to be question. Seminal plasma plus sperms called semen. Seminal plasma which is released by these respective structures and sperms collectively called semen. The functions of male accessory ducts and glands are maintained by androgens, we call testicular hormones. That's it. That is all about the male reproductive system. In that spermatogenesis, we just talk about. So these are whatever I wrote on sides, these are going to be the possible questions. These are going to be the possible questions. We just discussed about spermatogenesis, spermiogenesis, spermiation. Three definitions. And cell, their division they perform, and the number of chromosomes. For every cell, you have to see three. Spermatogonia, cell, spermatogonia. Division it perform, mitosis, number of chromosomes in them, 46. For primary spermatocyte. Result after mitosis, it perform meiosis 1. Number of chromosomes, 26 again, 23 pairs, 46, because they are formed after mitosis. What they perform, meiosis 1. What is the result? Secondary spermatocyte. This sequence is enough. This sequence is enough for understanding the total process. So, and hormonal influence sequence it is going to be. Then issues of the sperms, that means head contain, neck, middle piece contain, tail contain, their respective structures and their functions. And finally, number game, 200 to 300 million, 120, 180 million, 48 to 72 million. This is all about spermatogenesis, production of sperms we call